12th of December. That means we're halfway through the Chessex dice calendar. Let's see what we can get. It is here. Now, last time we did have a bit of an issue with the hatches and the pits being basically pushed open probably by the weight of the die, and I did a long rant about it. I hope that is, it's obviously not been resolved, but I'm hoping that there is nothing wrong. Is a strong word, because it's not like a big fault. It's a small annoyance, and I get that if it's the first time that you're making a dice calendar, there's gonna be some beginner's faults. That's just how it is. But enough about that. Let's get hatch number 12 poked open. And opened up. Okay. That will do. What will we have? Ooh. A D10, and it looks like it belongs to a set where we only have the D8 so far. And I actually got it up without issue. That's because D10s have this sort of lovely edge that you can actually kind of grip onto, even with very little part of your finger, and actually have a pretty decent grip on it. So this is the same as the D8. Now, I praised the D8 for being easy to read. Perhaps not always, but for the most part, easy to read and nice to look at. Let's see if that holds true with the D10 as well. And it is doing dashes rather than dots. Love that. Excellent. Thumbs up. Well, it's a little hard to do a thumbs up when your camera is pointing straight down like this. You can't really see other than the tip of my thumb, and that's not really very useful. Oh, is there anything else in this hatch? Does not look at it. Having the ring light here actually helps a lot, because that allows me to really angle the light all over the place. Okay. Let's look at you closer. See, this is not a problem. The yellow, or whatever it is so faint that despite the light being reflected off of the white parts, you can easily see the lettering. It's nice and thick, and it's very easy to read. Good legibility, at least for number 1. 7, it's the same. 3, it loses a bit of it because the red doesn't reflect as nearly as well as the white or the yellow does. So, at least not in this type of light. It's still fairly easy to read, and the same goes for 5 and 9. I will say that the even side, the one with the more red, seems to be the harder to read because the bronze coloring of the lettering is closer to the red. So when reflected upon, like if I can angle it right, it actually becomes pretty hard to see, assuming that you are sitting in a well-lit room. Like if you have sort of dim lit when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons or any other TTRPG, this shouldn't be a problem because it actually works pretty well. Like you see me going out of the light here, and you can still see that it says 8. Where to if we actually go into the light, it becomes a little harder to see because reflections from the light. So if you don't have the strongest type of light where you're sitting, for example, in a public library, which usually have pretty sharp light, but not in places where you're sitting and studying, because it's also not great for you reading. Like you actually don't want the brightest light for reading paper, then you would probably be fine. But straight in the bright light from this one, it starts to get a little hard to read, but it's I like this coloration combo. White is not very usual for mixed painted dye. And I really like that there actually are some dye that are doing it, because you can use white as a base combination for a lot of things, and it doesn't get enough love. Like, it is so easy to make a black dye with bright colored lettering. Yes, it works, but this is bold, and it so far I would say that it works. It's not the best looking set, but it is certainly a memorable one, and like, if you have this at a table, you can be pretty sure that it's unique to the table, and no one's going to be like, hey, who brought those? And you can be like, oh, well, obviously it was me. Lovely. Right, into the tower. That's a 1. And you could easily read it even from here. That's great. I love that. Good. You are going into the bowl, and I shall see you for the second half of the Chessex Dies calendar tomorrow. But until then, take care.